Hey guys, welcome to the fourth episode of our Mega Build series that follows the setup of that 265-gallon Marineland corner flow aquarium with Monterey cabinet and canopy in my daughter's playroom. Previously, you watched us drag that beast down here, which took 4 guys, and then I talked about why I picked that aquarium, and then I showed you the plumbing and filtration that I had picked for that aquarium, and today we're going to talk about the lighting, because if you can't see it, what's the point? When I previously talked about how I was going to light this tank, I mentioned that I wanted something nice and bright so the fish would pop since it's for my daughter and she's got to see them from the floor. And I also mentioned I wasn't sure what I was putting in this tank yet, whether it was fresh or salt, corals, plants. I don't know what I'm doing. So I figured the best course of action would be to go big and get something nice and bright that would take care of pretty much anything and then dial it back if I have to. So that's pretty much what I've done. I decided to go with the newest technology to the aquarium trade, and it's been building up over the years, and it's actually really solid now, and that's LED. I have a lot of experience with LEDs. I really like the way they look. I love the shimmer. I love the fact that they're energy saving and cost efficient, and that there are no bulb changes, so that's what I went with. I also decided to go with an LED strip light as opposed to pendants, because a strip light's gonna light that tank more evenly side to side. And there's only one strip light on the market, in my opinion, that's got the settings that I like, along with, the punch that I'm looking for this kind of tank. And that is none other than the Current USA Orbit IC light. So let's dive into that light and I'll tell you the features of it and why I essentially had to go with that light. Because it wasn't really an option. I saw it and I was like, it's got to be that. That way or no way. Or some other way. But that way was the way I wanted. So that's the way I went. Let's go look at a cardboard box. The IC lights are actually a brand new product from Current USA, and as an incentive for customers, they're actually shipping with these. These aren't a part of the light, but they're really cool. Mind you, I'm not going to talk about them right now. I'm going to talk about them more during the circulation episode. So I'm going to put them away for now. Once you open up the box, you're going to notice 2 smaller boxes, one containing the power adapter and the other containing the loop controller, the IC light hub, a remote control, some cable ties, corresponding power cords, Now, the Marineland 265 is 84 inches long, or 7 feet, and the longest light fixture I can get for this tank is 72 inches long, or 6 feet, which means I'm going to be missing about 6 inches of fixture on each end of the tank. But I actually don't mind that, because with that missing 6 inches, I'm going to be getting less light bleeding onto the side panels of the aquarium, meaning I'm not going to be getting algae buildup there. This fixture also has 90-degree optics, which is a fairly tight beam angle, but again, I don't really mind because where the fixture is going on the top of the tank, dead center, that means I'm not going to be getting too much light bleeding on the front and back panels of the tank, meaning less algae to clean on those panels. The Orbit IC is 63 watts, and for a 63-watt fixture, it's pretty darn bright, which I can appreciate, obviously, because I wanted a bright fixture for the tank. It isn't, however, overly bright. So with a single fixture, I'd definitely be okay with making sure those fish look good. But if I was planning to get some corals or plants, I might actually want to throw the second 72-inch fixture up there just for that extra punch of light to make sure everything's getting as much light as it requires. The Orbit IC has a fantastic spread when it comes to the spectrum. It's because it features dual daylights, which are 6500K and 10000K, dual actinics at 445 nanometer and 460 nanometer, and then RGB LEDs, which means I can make any color under the sun, and that's awesome. Long story short, whatever spectrum is going to make those fish look the best, I can achieve that with this fixture, whether it's dialing the blues back and punching up the reds or vice versa. I'm pretty much covered, which is important to me because I really want those fish to pop. The IC light is also completely controllable, so I can program a sunrise, the daytime, sunset, and then also moonlighting. There's also weather effects, which this is the first fixture that I'm aware of that has a rolling cloud cover. So you'll actually see the light move from one end of the tank to the other end of the tank, which is going to be quite an interesting effect. So if maybe she's sitting on the floor and she's decided, I'm not going to look at the tank anymore, I'll put that on and it'll draw her attention and it'll be mesmerizing. Current USA makes some really nice orbit tank mounts for mounting those lights to your aquarium, and I did have the clearance in the canopy for those mounts, so I was going to use them, but it turns out that 1 inch maximum for those mounts is just not enough for this tank. The trim is just too wide because of that inner lip, so I can't use them. Fortunately, the fixtures are super slim, so they fit really easily in that canopy regardless, so I might actually even suspend them from the top of the canopy rather than laying them on the glass tops, but for now, sitting on the glass tops is working perfectly fine. The IC lights are also passively cooled, meaning there will be no noise coming from fans, which is important to me because I want this system to be as quiet as possible. I also really like the fact that these IC lights are compatible with Current USA's brand new loop controller. One reason that really appealed to me is because the loop controller will have an app coming out first thing in the new year that's going to essentially allow you to control everything from your phone. So if I want to make an adjustment to the light, I don't have to find the remote and then use the remote on the light. I can just use my phone. At the end of the day, Current USA's Orbit IC lights checked off all the boxes of what I was looking for in a light for my aquarium, so that's what I had to go with. Now, I will say there are a ton of other lighting options out there, so depending on what your goals are, you may want to go with another light, but if your goals were similar to mine, the Orbit IC light is a perfect choice. I will also mention that on a shorter aquarium, these fixtures, even by themselves, are definitely going to be able to grow coral. When you have a tank this deep, it's a little bit tough, but a single fixture, shallow tank, perfect. Now, speaking of growing coral, I've been getting a lot of questions, and I'm sure a lot of you want to know whether or not this is going to be a saltwater aquarium or a freshwater aquarium. And I keep saying that I'm not sure what I'm doing, but the fact of the matter is I am leaning heavily in one of the two directions. And I absolutely promise, I will tell you what this aquarium is going to be in our next episode. So hang tight and you will find out. So make sure you check out our next episode for the big reveal. And don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss that episode. And if you have any questions at all regarding the Current USA Orbit IC lights or the loop system, feel free to ask me about it. You can do that in the comment section below or on social media like Facebook or Twitter. Lots of ways to reach out to us and get your questions answered. And as always, you should keep on tanking forever and always. And always, forever and always, forever and always. Tanking. It's poetic. Just tank forever and always.